which was that actually evolution is a bit like a clock. It ticks slowly around. And there was a wonderful moment when it took a dizzying leap into the void and leapt over to a new form of life.
The blueprint of life. What is DNA and how does it work? Imagine a complex code, a blueprint containing every detail about you, from the color of your eyes to the rhythm of your heartbeat. This code, so complex, lies deep within the nucleus of every cell in your body. This is the story of DNA. Stick around until the end and you'll be able to call yourself a DNA expert. What is DNA? Deep dive into the microscopic marvel. Deoxyribonucleic acid, more commonly recognized as DNA, is far from being just another cluster of molecules. It is, in essence, the cornerstone upon which the vast diversity and complexity of life stands. Imagine a winding staircase, an architectural marvel known as the double helix, with every step, every twist, and every turn holding a specific purpose. These steps are made up of combinations of 4 unique nucleotides, which come together in myriad ways to set the tempo for all known forms of life. ACGT, adenine A, cytosine C, guanine G, and thymine T. This miniature wonder is like an ultra-advanced computer storage system that has captured and stored billions of years of evolutionary history. It's a natural hard drive with a storage capacity beyond our comprehension. As for the origin of DNA itself, the story is hidden in a mixture of scientific intrigue and mystery. Several hypotheses attempt to explain how DNA was born. The RNA World Hypothesis. Before DNA, it's believed there was RNA. This theory proposes that early life forms used RNA, a close relative to DNA, to store genetic information and catalyze chemical reactions before DNA took over these roles due to its greater stability. Metabolism First Hypothesis. Instead of genetic molecules like RNA or DNA, life might have begun as a cycle of chemical reactions. This could have eventually led to the evolution of molecules that reproduce and store genetic information. Clay Hypothesis. Some scientists propose that complex organic molecules could have first formed on the surface of clay minerals on primitive Earth, offering a platform for the chemical processes that led to life. Extraterrestrial origins. Some theories even suggest that the precursors to DNA could have come from space, hitching a ride on comets or interstellar dust, eventually reaching Earth and giving rise to life. DNA is an epic tale, a saga of survival, adaptation, and evolution. It's a microscopic masterpiece that, in its twists and turns, carries the ancient secrets of life itself. Interesting fact, recent studies suggest that under optimal conditions, the half-life of DNA is about 521 years. That means that after 521 years, half of the bonds connecting DNA would have broken. It's one of the reasons why the dream of cloning dinosaurs is scientifically improbable. Sorry, Jurassic Park fans. How does DNA work? Unraveling nature's blueprint. Imagine if you stumbled upon a vast, ancient library filled with books written in a language you couldn't understand. Each book tells an intricate story about a specific person's features, traits, and functionalities. That library is like the genome, and every book represents the DNA of an individual organism. But how do these books come to life? At its core, DNA is like a master chef's secret recipe book. It holds all the ingredients and steps necessary to whip up every dish. Just as a recipe can guide you to create a delicious cake or pie, DNA holds the recipes for making proteins, which are essential building blocks and workers in your body. When it's time to make a particular dish or protein, DNA doesn't leave its sacred vault. Instead, it sends out a copy of the recipe. This is where transcription comes into play. Like a meticulous librarian copying a page from an ancient text, the cell creates a copy of the DNA sequence in RNA. This RNA, carrying the recipe, ventures into the cell's kitchen, the ribstone. Here, the cooks, or ribosomes, read the DNA to bake the needed protein. This process is known as translation. It's also like trying to assemble a complex Lego structure. The DNA provides step-by-step instructions detailing which piece goes where, ensuring the final structure, or protein, is built correctly. Did you know your cells house a staggering 3 billion base pairs of DNA neatly packed into 23 chromosome pairs? Among these billions lie approximately 20,000 genes encoding the story of you. How DNA determines our traits, the master painter. DNA is an intricate artist, holding a palette filled with colors representing genes. Each stroke on the canvas of our being is a trait, from the shade of our eyes to the curve of our smile. DNA uses its genes to paint our unique portrait. Each gene can have multiple shades, or versions, known as alleles. For example, there's a shade for blue eyes and another for brown. When both parents give you a brown-eyed shade, your eyes reflect that color. If one parent gives blue and the other brown, the brown overshadows the blue, acting as a dominant shade. This is how dominant and recessive alleles work. Sometimes, the artist experiments, introducing new splashes of color or slight alterations called mutations. While these can be subtle brushstrokes, they add variety to our genetic gallery. Some mutations might even fortify the painting, like adding a protective varnish, offering us resistance to certain diseases. In essence, DNA with its palette of genes crafts our unique visual story, blending heritage and individuality on every canvas. Different types of DNA. When we think of DNA, often the image of a double helix comes to mind. But DNA, the blueprint of life, is more versatile than we might realize. From our cells to bacteria and even viruses, DNA exists in several distinct forms, each serving its unique purpose. DNA, the genetic code of life, comes in various forms. Double helix DNA. This is the most common structure present in the nucleus of our cells. It consists of 2 strands coiled around each other, forming the iconic ladder-like shape. Mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA. Found in the mitochondria, this type of DNA is unique. It's inherited solely from the mother and plays a role in energy production within the cell. Single-stranded DNA. Unlike the double helix, this DNA has only one strand. It's primarily found in certain viruses, allowing them to inject their genetic material into host cells efficiently. Circular DNA. Present in bacteria and some organelles of eukaryotic cells. This DNA forms a continuous loop without free ends, ensuring compactness and stability for simpler organisms. Each of these DNA types has a specialized role tailored to the needs and functions of the organism or cell structure. From being life's blueprint to the forefront of technological advancements, DNA continues to intrigue, surprise, and inspire us. It is, after all, the story of life, evolution, and what makes us, us. So, if you could edit one trait in your DNA, what would it be? Super intelligence, height, or maybe the ability to eat any food without gaining weight? Share your thoughts below as we continue to unravel the mysteries of DNA. Join us on this journey by subscribing and diving deeper into the story of our universe.